There's one thing that you're doing that's keeping your anxiety in a loop. You're feeling stuck. And the weird part is, and actually the worst part about this, is when you're doing it and you start doing it, you feel like it's the thing that you need to do. You keep doing it because you feel like it's the safe thing to do. Your brain tricks you into thinking that it's the thing that you should be doing in order to get out of anxiety, when in fact, what you need to do is the complete opposite. The thing that I'm referring to, the thing that you're doing right now that's keeping your anxiety stuck in a loop, is avoidance. You are avoiding something, whether a big event, whether a conversation, whether some kind of step in the right direction, whether it's returning a phone call, whatever it might be. You're avoiding something in your life that is keeping your anxiety stuck in a loop. And here's the thing. I was in the same place that you are right now. When I first started exhibiting anxiety and panic attacks and had my first panic attack, and once I was diagnosed with generalized anxiety disorder, it actually happened in a vehicle. And I figured this would be the best place to record this video. I felt inspired to share this with you. I'm in my car right now, and actually it is the exact car. I've had this car for the past 10 plus years, and I had my very first massive panic attack in this vehicle. And the crazy thing is, when I was driving, it was a hot July day, and I knew something was wrong. I felt this, my heart palpitating. I felt like I was sweating. I felt like I felt like I was going crazy. And this was not a random incident. It was leading up to this for the past several months, maybe the past year prior to this moment. A lot of things boiled up, and these are things that I've shared in this channel and I'll continue to share with you. And in that moment, I had a panic attack while I was driving. And the next 6 months to a year of my life were just absolutely wild. Just getting through that challenge of having panic attacks and being diagnosed with generalized anxiety disorder. Every single time that I got in a vehicle, not even just this car, but any car as a passenger, I started having panic attacks. And what ended up happening is my brain treated being in a car or the thought of driving a vehicle or just being around a vehicle, it perceived it as a threat. It perceived it as a danger. So I initiated this loop in my own brain that a car is associated with a panic attack. And so what I started doing was avoiding the situation of having to drive a vehicle, and I started becoming very much a homebody. I did not want to go anywhere unless if I absolutely needed to, and I had a job at the time. I was working a 9 to 5, so it made it really challenging. I tried to get there as fast as I could and get home as fast as I could, and it was just a very, very difficult time in my life because I associated the threat of being in a car with danger, and my brain turned that into anxiety and panic attacks. That's going on with you right now. There is something that you are avoiding. Again, it could be going to a social gathering. It could be returning a phone call. It could be connecting with someone that you haven't. It could be making a big decision. Something is causing you to turn your brain into this avoidance behavior. And it might have turned into having a panic attack or an anxiety attack in that situation. So now your brain is perceiving that particular thing as a threat. And I want to share a couple of things with you to help you through this, because you cannot be stuck in this loop forever. You have to get out of this loop. And the best part is, once you start getting out of this loop, you start understanding your anxiety far better, and you start understanding the power and the beauty of your anxiety. I always talk about anxiety as your superpower, and this is why, once you start figuring out and understanding it. So one of the biggest mistakes people make when they try to get through the avoidance behavior is, you've probably heard this term by now, because if you have anxiety, I know you're doing the research and figuring out what's going on. You've heard of exposure therapy. You know that exposure therapy is one of the best ways to combat your anxiety. But here's the thing. It's such a simple phrase, and people really simplify it or they complicate it. And what I'm going to do is make it easy for you to really understand exposure therapy, okay? Because no one explained this to me, so I want to explain it to you. Essentially, in the basic terms, exposure therapy is slowly introducing that thing that you are avoiding, the thing that's causing panic attacks, slowly introducing it back into your day to day. But the problem is, people take a deep plunge and jump right into it. And what ends up happening is the anxiety becomes worse. it starts to manifest itself into bigger panic attacks, and then you want to do that thing less. So I'll give you an example. For example, if speaking in let's say, for example, going to a party or a gathering is something that you're avoiding and that's causing you to have panic attacks. What a lot of people do is they jump right in and go to a huge social gathering because they have social anxiety, so they're avoiding that. They go to a social gathering and their anxiety gets worse, and then the brain reinforces it and they start thinking, see, I was right. My anxiety was right. I can't do this. This is not for me. I got to get away. Instead of jumping into something massive right out the gate, take it very, very slowly, one step at a time. Instead of going to a giant party or a giant gathering, why don't you introduce yourself to possibly meeting up with a friend or a loved one at a coffee shop or somewhere that is maybe out of the norm for you, something that causes you worry. Maybe a place where there's other people, but you don't have to worry about those other people because you're there to be with this one person. And slowly ease into, then from that, going to a very small get-together with a group of friends or family members, and introducing your mind and your body and your physical being and your space into an environment that's noisy, that's loud, things that bring you fright, but slowly being introduced into a safer way, a safer manner, right? So I'll share my own example with exposure therapy. When I learned about exposure therapy, I'm like, great, I'm going to start driving again. I'm going to get in the car, and not good. I started having anxiety attacks again. So what I did is I took it one step at a time. I started meditating. Meditation was huge for me, and I started journaling. And what I did is I started every morning, I meditated for 5 or 10 minutes to kind of get myself into a headspace of calm and peace. And then I would journal my feelings for 5 minutes, how I'm feeling that day. And then I would slowly ease into the thought of driving. So I would go out to my vehicle and I would sit in and just not even turn the ignition. I would just sit in this car and just take some do some deep breathing exercises, kind of to center myself and bring myself to the present moment. I would hold on to the steering wheel and I would just do some breathing exercises. And I would gradually work up to linking calm, tranquility, and peace to being in a vehicle, right? And I would jot my thoughts. And even though it felt like nothing was happening, a few weeks later, I went back to my journal entries from 2 weeks ago, and I was just absolutely enamored and blown away by how far I had come. What started off as worry, fear, panic, anxiety, and just doom and gloom turned into peace, tranquility, calm. And so then I slowly worked up to driving by myself. By the way, something that I haven't mentioned yet is when I was having these panic attacks in the vehicle, I couldn't be in a car by myself because it scared me. So anytime I did have to go anywhere, I needed someone with me in the passenger seat or have them drive. So when I was going to work and whatnot, luckily my wife and I, we both worked in the same area. And so we commuted to work together, which was really helpful. But I couldn't be in the car by myself. So I gradually, slowly introduced that back into my life. And then once I took that grip and power away from anxiety and reinforced my brain, and instead of turning being in a car into a threat, I made it something that was peaceful and calm and easy for me. And then something amazing happened. Once I started getting that confidence back in myself, that anxiety does not have power over me, I started realizing what is the best way to overcome or become one with my anxiety. Because anxiety disorder and panic attacks, they're not something that you want to just get rid of, because that's what your brain, like once you get into it, you're like, I don't want this anymore. I want this to go away. That's not the case. I've shared this before and I will continue to share it in more videos. Anxiety is an amazing part of your life, and you need to be one with it and understand it, because it's trying to tell you something. It's trying to teach you something. It's not like my panic attack that happened in the vehicle came out of nowhere. Like I said, it took a year for me to get to that point. Just like you, your anxiety and panic attacks did not just come out of nowhere. Something led up to this. And your job as your own self-discovery and your own journey in life is to kind of start putting the pieces together of what led up to this moment. Not so much delving into the nitty-gritty of like, what were the small things that made me have a panic attack, but rather what were the big events that led to this point? Because we tend to start thinking about, oh, it's because I ate this one thing and I had an anxiety attack, or my panic attack, or my anxiety got worse. It's not one or two small things. It's a series of big events that you tend to kind of push off to the side. What are those things? And I will continue to help you unwind that and understand that a little bit more. Okay? So as you move forward in your own journey, really think about what is the thing that you are avoiding. What is the avoidance behavior for you? What is the thing that you need to do, want to do, should be doing that you're putting off because your brain has now turned that into a threat, warning signal, making you feel like you have to get away from this thing. Once you start understanding the things that you're avoiding in life and you start understanding yourself more and getting that confidence and understanding that you are this incredible human being that can overcome anything. And when you work with your anxiety, how you are going to be far more superior than you've ever known. And your journey from where you started and where you're headed is going to be phenomenal. It is a journey. It really is a process of self-discovery, and you are lucky. I know when I say that, people are like, why would you say that? I'm lucky. I'm struggling. I'm so frustrated with my panic attacks and my anxiety. Trust me, my friend. You are wonderful. You are lucky. You are going through this self-exploration and self-discovery journey. And although it may feel like you're doing this by yourself, you're not alone. We are in this together. I will help you get to where you need to be. And all I can say is thank you so much for being here and watching this through the entire process. Moving forward on this channel, if you are new or if you've been here for a while, these are the type of videos I am going to be posting. Not overly produced, overly curated, overly created, because I feel like there's so many beautiful messages and things that I want to teach you that I get inside my own creative head that I feel like it has to be 1000% perfect. And I know for you and it's just a sit down conversation, and I want us to get to that point where I can just sit and talk to you about the things that you're struggling with in a way that helps you move forward. Because at the end of the day, that's what matters to me, is to help you get to the other side and figure yourself out. And I cannot thank you enough for being here and watching this and being on this journey with me. And if there's anything I can do to help you as you move forward in your life, please comment below. Let me know what is it that you're struggling with your anxiety disorder journey, and how I can help by answering the questions in upcoming videos. And I hope you like this format, because this is going to be a very normal part of this channel, just sitting and chatting with you. I hope you have a wonderful day, and happy belated 2025. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Have a great day, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye, friend.